One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome everyone to the morning announcement. I'ma say my name so you can pronounce it. Bomani Armah. Shout out to early risers, I see who you are. My morning ritual, thanks for having me over. Start with audiovisual, dose of Sankofa. My favorite occasions a few moons away. I'm counting rotations to watermelon day. If you're with me this morning, I hope that you're with it. 2 things that I want and 3 ways to get it. Black solidarity, African independence. Honor the ancestors, prepare descendants. 3rd thing you gotta do is love right now. I mean that in every sense and every way you know how. Now throw them up and say what should increase on 1, 2, 3, peace.
Alright, let's do the mic.
Check. Not sure if it's working correctly. I had something really weird happen. Let me try this again. Here we go.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome everyone to the morning announcement. I'ma say my name so you can pronounce it. Bomani Armah. Shout out to early risers, I see who you are. My morning ritual, thanks for having me over. Start with audiovisual, dose of Sankofa. My favorite occasions a few moons away. I'm counting rotations to watermelon day. If you're with me this morning, I hope that you're with it. 2 things that I want and 3 ways to get it. Black solidarity, African independence. Honor the ancestors, prepare descendants. 3rd thing you gotta do is love right now. I mean that in every sense and every way you know how. Now throw them up and say what should increase on 1, 2, 3, peace.
Alright, let's do the mic.
Check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the morning announcements with Bomani Armah. My name is Bomani. It is Wednesday, April 26th. We are 101 days away from Watermelon Day at Sankofa. I apologize for the technical difficulties I've been having today. This is going to be an abridged version of the show, but you know we always got to get our libation in, so let me pour out a libation for Coretta Scott King. Today's libation is for Coretta Scott King, April 27th, 1927 to January 30th, 2006, an American author, activist, and civil rights leader and the wife of Martin Luther King Jr. from 1953 until his death. As an advocate for African American equality, she was a leader for civil rights movement in the 1960s. King was also a singer who often incorporated music into her civil rights work. King played a prominent role in the years after her husband's assassination in 1968, when she took on the leadership of the struggle for racial equality herself and became active in the women's movement. King founded the King Center. She founded the King Center and successfully founded the Dr. King National Holiday. Here's our quote from Coretta Scott King. The greatness of a community is let me do this again. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. Coretta Scott King. Let me say that again. The greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassionate actions of its members. Coretta Scott King. Coming together is necessary for us. Humans are one of the most social and communal animals on the planet. Our accomplishments in science and art and quality of living are predicated on us being able to come together and share. The most valuable members of this community understand the compassion that is needed to keep everyone together. To be able to be on the same page and continue humanity, we need to have people willing to do the work of keeping us communal. Coretta Scott King was the epitome of this idea, sacrificing her own happiness through her work and with her husband to make sure this country was more communal. Thank you for your service, Mrs. King. Let's pour a libation for Coretta Scott King. We never forget, so never fear. For homies who ain't here, we pouring out a beer. Because of you, it'll never be the same. We keep saying your name while we pour champagne. For the mothers and the father figures, your flames to flickers, we pouring out some liquor. We're the sons and the daughters of heroes and martyrs. Honor you by pouring out some water. Friends, today's libation is for one Miss Coretta Scott King. Thank y'all for joining me. Since I have her on here, and I was thinking about it earlier, I rarely actually see video of her speaking. So I actually want to share this video of a longer interview with Coretta Scott King, where she talks about what it took to survive segregation. Here's Miss Coretta Scott King.
You know, it was the way it was. I didn't like it, and I always felt less. I knew I was important as they were, but it sort of brought down a curtain, you know, in a sense, on my selfhood, and helped me to become more determined to get out of that situation and to try to do something about it when I had an opportunity. So I was determined myself to get an education, to get the best education possible, and to be able to come back and give back something to that community. And that was really what I went to college with my mind on, as well as the New England Conservatory of Music. I studied elementary education in music at Antioch, and I couldn't get a full music degree, but I always wanted to study music. That was my first love. In high school, I had a teacher who influenced me greatly, Miss Olive J. Williams, and she was versatile in music. And I wanted to be like her. She exposed me to the world of classical music. Before then, I had never heard classical music. She exposed me also to the great composers of the world, and as well as Black performers, which I didn't know about at the time: Marian Anderson, Paul Robeson, Roland Hayes, and Dorothy Maynard, and others. And so I got my foundation and my beginning there. And then at Antioch, I built on that with another teacher named Walter Anderson. And he was the one who eventually encouraged me to apply, when I graduated from Antioch, to the New England Conservatory of Music in Boston. So I attended the New England Conservatory on a scholarship to Antioch, a scholarship to the conservatory. And of course, after my first semester in Boston in 1951, I met Martin Luther King Jr. And of course, Martin Luther King Jr. was studying for his doctorate in systematic theology. And he was going to go back south and pastor a church, a Baptist church. And he was looking for a wife, and I wasn't looking for a husband. But he was a wonderful human being, and he made everyone feel special, and he made me feel very special, you know, as a woman. But I still resisted his overtures, but after he persisted, I had to pray about it, because I've had, my parents were religious. I was brought up in the church, and I had a strong faith. I always believed that there was a purpose for my life, and that I had to seek that purpose, and that if I discovered that purpose, then I believed that I would be successful in what I was doing. And I thought I had found that purpose when I decided that music was going to be my career, concert singing. I was going to be trained as a concert singer at the New England Conservatory of Music. I studied voice and the first year, and after I met Martin and prayed about whether or not I should open myself to that relationship, I had a dream, and in that dream I was made to feel that I should allow myself to be open and stop fighting the relationship. And that's what I did, and of course the rest is history.
Wow. Okay, I'm glad I let that play. That was a piece of an interview with Coretta Scott King. I clicked on the section that said surviving segregation, but I'm glad she went into the fact that she was a concert singer and was training to be a music educator, which is like most of my tribe right now. And how much it weighed on her, the importance of her marrying a preacher. Of course, she was a preacher's wife. She was trained to be a music teacher, so they would have been the perfect couple. I hadn't even thought about that recently, so I'm glad I was able to play that clip for you, friends. That was Coretta Scott King. Let me let y'all know about some things that I got going on. I have my big event happening on May 6th from 2 to 3:30, I have something called Kicking Against Holy Houses. That is my interview and conversation with Dr. Natasha Gordon-Sheppenbeer as we discuss her new book, Finding La Negrita. I've got my copy right here. I definitely suggest this book, and I suggest you go to Sankofa Video and Books and log in and be a part of this great conversation we're going to have. This book is a retelling of the Black Madonna story, written by a novelist who was also a historian who's very steeped in the history of Costa Rica. And so I am going to thoroughly enjoy this conversation. You are more than welcome to join us. Let me let you know about the other things that I got going on. I've got my new interview series. I've taken a little bit of a pause from it, but the people I've interviewed so far for EAT, that's Educators and Artists Talk, are Drew Anderson, Baba C, and Reshada Pullen-Jireh. Now I'm gonna play the third clip from the Reshada interview. I've played 2 clips over the last 2 weeks. I ask all my guests to honor the ancestors, prepare the descendants, and love right now. And that is shout out an artist who you appreciate doing it, who's like your age or younger. And Reshada brought up Miss Geneva Bowers. I put Geneva Bowers' website in the link description of this video if you were interested in learning more about her. I'm going to let Reshada give Geneva her flowers. That's why I love giving this opportunity to artists. Here is Reshada.
So there's this artist, her name is Geneva Bowers. She is an illustrator and she loves to create whimsical illustrations. Most of her work is centered around Black women in fantasy. And
Okay.
but it's delightful and not gross, if you know what I mean.
Okay, got you.
She I think her Instagram handle is @GB. So at the letter G BEE. And her work is delightful and fun and engaging, and it allows children, though I might show them lots of different work from lots of different artists, and I do show them Black artists, and I do show them women artists, and I do show them artists from lots of different countries, to be able to see art that they might be presently into, but drawn by a Black person, featuring Black people doing fantastic fantasy things.
Boom.
It does something good. It does something to the hearts of children to be able to see themselves in fantasy, because a lot of times we're not included in fantasy. And every year that I teach a unit on illustrators and whimsy and whimsical art in 4th grade. And every single year when I teach the kids about Geneva Bowers, like it's the biggest hit, because she uses a lot of juxtaposition and a lot of hybridity. And juxtaposition, for those of you who don't know, just means that you put 2 things together that normally don't go together. And so it's, kind of like having a trash can with a straw in it. That would be juxtaposition. And hybridity is when you take 2 things and you put them in the same body. So it's like when you take a human and you splice their body with a tiger or something.
Got you.
And so she uses a lot of juxtaposition and hybridity, and we do a deep study just looking at her work. And her work is so joyful and so colorful and delightfully feminine in ways that I might not necessarily always present very feminine presenting work to my students, because you want to make everybody feel comfortable, but it's fun to be able to see, oh, this is very feminine and this is delightful and very well done. And so Geneva Bowers, that is one person that I would shout out. She's based in North Carolina, I think.
I'm gonna look her up now. You gave me her Instagram and her name, so I'll make sure to highlight her when I play these clips. That's perfect. I was having technical difficulties this morning and almost didn't do today's show, but I'm glad that I did. This has been one of my favorite episodes so far. So that was Reshada Pullen-Jireh talking about one of her favorite new artists, this young lady named Geneva Bowers. You can find her at GB on Instagram, or go into the comment or go into the information about this video and find out more information about her. We also had a conversation with another teaching artist, Miss Coretta Scott King. I didn't think about her in those terms until I saw that video, and of course I should have always been thinking about her in those terms. I really appreciate that. Make sure you go and support this new interview project called Educators and Artists Talk. I will give you a new update on who our new interviewees are this upcoming weekend. And make sure you go to Patreon to support what we do here at the Morning Announcements. Patreon.com, Bomani Armah. You can also send money directly at Cash App or PayPal, Zelle, and Venmo. Friends, I really appreciate the support that y'all have been giving me. I'm really excited about Watermelon Day, and I'm still pushing these Watermelon Day t-shirts. You're going to see me with mine next week. I'm really excited about it. I just got an email from Zudeka, and I'm excited about that. Friends, that is my show. I've got one other thing that I do before I end every show, and that is play the Black National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing by James Weldon Johnson and Jay Rosamond Johnson. That's what I'm about to do right now. Here we go. Friends, that is our program. Thank you very much for joining us for the morning announcements. I am Bomani Armah. There are 3 things that I want you to do today. Honor the ancestors, prepare the descendants, love right now. At the count of 3, everybody say peace, throw up the deuces, and I'll see you soon. 1, 2, 3. Peace.
Hold it now, the melon is sweet, the water is life. So every time we meet, I'ma give you a slice, cause I'm the watermelon man. I'm the watermelon man. I got the juice and plant the seeds. I reap the fruit and give you what you need, cause I'm the watermelon man. I'm the watermelon man. It's the watermelon man, reppin' red, black, and green. The county of PG sends you greetings from